Greetings, vloggers, bloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty with another edition of this week's vlog. So I want to welcome everybody. It's Good Friday here in the world, and it's Easter weekend. So not really big of an Easter fan, but I do celebrate. I'm taking a little time off, and I've starting to recover from burnout. Of course, it's always important in an autistic person's life. Having to be recovering is a big process of mine. I'm learning more and more that I need to do. Sometimes it takes one day, sometimes it takes two or three to get into rhythm, into position, into, knowing that what works for you and what doesn't work for you as an autistic person. I'm learning more and more from other vloggers and other motivational speakers about how to take care of myself in my journey of self-discovery as time goes on in life. This journey hasn't been easy, and especially in the past 3 to 4 years is not. This very tree-lined street that I have in a picture behind me was not always a good street for me. It was always a street I'd either be dancing around in or be very not well in. But today I was well, and I like the spring when these flowers come up on this street. When I walk my walk, when I go for my walk sometimes, and I took some pictures today. But I think sometimes that's like the thing. That's the theme of today's vlog. Let's do it anyway. And sometimes it can be hard, to say, well, you've done this, you've done that, you've done, and sometimes when you're recharging or you're rebuilding yourself, do you really want to stop? And I could have a million excuses of why I couldn't do things in life, like why couldn't I, why I couldn't go to work, or why I couldn't go to the program, or why I couldn't go to get weight on a weight loss scale, or why I couldn't go for a 2.5 mile walk that I've done twice this week, along with walking a couple other instances this week. I could make all the excuses in the world why I couldn't. And I could just sit here and eat and order DoorDash and order whatever, or just sit here and eat nonsense food, or or concentrate on eating, or just focus more on stuffing my face or consuming all the soda in the house. It could be all those things, people, but it's not. It's not, I do enjoy, some things in the morning. I do enjoy getting up, and lately I've been reading my Bible, and for me that was a hard thing to do, to get used to, and if you're religious or not, that's up to you. But I think for me, I strayed away from having a relationship with a higher power for a long time. And now you getting back into the sense of I needed that, and having a challenge of being sure to read a devotional, or I had the devotional books in the house. Somebody gave me one last year, and I kept sending them a couple little bucks in the mail every month, and I get my new book, and I would, for most times, I would toss it by the side, or I read a day here, or I read a day there, and I really wouldn't focus. And sometimes it's hard to say, to get up in the morning, I remember to read it, and remember to read the Bible, and remember to pray. But you know what? You do it because it's one of those things. You have to set those routines in life. And as autistic people, we're often regimented in routines and rituals, and we're very regimented. And it was one of the hardest things, I think, with anybody, having a routine, of doing things that you used to do. Um, Life come back after COVID, it was very challenging in a way. So to be in a way that I could feel normal and safe again. And as the world had changed, and I had been on my journey of self-discovery for nearly 3 years, I had realized that I needed to be back somewhat where I belong, and somewhat in a new frame of mind, and a newer, deeper relationship with a higher power than what I had. And so I did. And, whether I thought one way or another, or the world thought one way or another about my relationship with the higher power, I still felt that it had to be the way that I wanted it to be, and make it the way that I wanted it to be. And over time, I did. And I built that. And, over the past month, and or so, in a week, Last past 5 weeks I have. And I don't say that to brag, and I don't say that to point a finger or to say that nobody else does it perfect. But sometimes you just need that inspiration. And that sometimes is what I need that inspiration to be. 5 weeks ago, I probably wouldn't have even signed up to go to the gym or transfer my membership to the gym closest to my house if I hadn't seen the inspiration online or watched the YouTube videos or Instagram videos or the Instagram reels. I wouldn't have had the energy to just get up and do it or take an initiative to go and do the things I need to do. It's something, to say, well, I'm independent, and I definitely, I'm proud of myself for being independent. But for the longest time, I think I just was barely getting through life, and it was really hard. Sometimes just and autistic people are often overloaded. There's no lie about that. There's no stated denial about that. Life is overloading. It is overpowering. But sometimes you just got to get up and do it anyway because it needs to be done. And that's, I could sit here and make a million excuses why things aren't done, or I don't um why I don't do things like clean or eat good or count my calories or go walk or do whatever. I could sit here and make a million excuses. I could sit here and play with my phone all day. I could sit here and go on every social media account I can. And yes, there is time for that. There's a time and a place for everything. I could say, give a million reasons why I don't want to go down 28 stairs and do my laundry. I could give definitely a million reasons why I don't want to do something. And I have done that for a very long time. I've made many excuses about why I haven't done things, even when being prompted by a family why I wouldn't do something. And, I think sometimes you have to want it. And it's been a long journey down this road we've been on. I'm almost 38 here in a couple weeks. And, a couple months. Excuse me, I'm jumping right ahead of time. But, I think, it could be, I would have done many of things, but if you don't put forth the effort and you don't follow what you preach and what you say and what you do, you're never going to get there. And I think for me, I had to say, okay, I can't be doing this. I can't be sitting around all day. I can't be constantly feeding my face with food that is very unhealthy with me. I have to, if I want to lose weight and I want the weight to come off, I got to do it. And sometimes it's not easy getting up saying, oh, I want to get up in the morning and go for a walk, or I want to go and go get on a treadmill. But I do it because I know I have to. I know it makes me feel better. And initially, as I had a hard time struggling with it. I did. I would go a couple days, and I just wouldn't. I wouldn't a couple days, and it would just be so hard. It would be such a struggle to leave the house. It would be such a struggle. I fall back into my old rhetoric of ordering out food from the app, having it brought to the door. I'd get in this old way of thinking about just sitting around or laying in bed or not doing anything or not taking my medicine. And I know that I need to take my medicine. I am learning more and more and more every time that my medicine is helping me do the things I want to do. It's not defeating the purpose like I think it does. It's doing what I need to do. And as slowly as I'm incorporating more and more and more and more of it, I know it works. And I'm seeing more and more and more and more of that. And I'm working more on those goals. It's been better April than it's been any month in the past 3 to 4 years. It's been really good. And I'm truly thankful. I'm truly grateful. For the longest time, I think I was just unhappy with myself. I was just in this very unhappy state. No matter what anybody said, or couldn't have, and it couldn't, nothing you could say, do, want, or make me want to do, would make me happy. Nothing would ever make me happy as a person because I never found what made me happy as a person. And that was it's a hard walk to walk, I think. Because, I think, 3 years ago, we know we had the falling out, COVID happened. Everything fell apart. We know that. It was not a good a good situation, and I fell back a little bit, and it got really bad. And if it wasn't for the therapist saving me for crisis 3 years ago, we were talking Easter, and that was when it was at its worst. People, it was at its worst. I was just really bad, and slowly as time goes on, and as since it's been 3 years ago, things start to get better. Things are starting to pick up again. And it was through fate that I got this my new home. And yeah, I lived in a lot of regret about it for a very long time. And a lot of I wouldn't leave the house, and a lot of I strained a lot at getting out through the neighborhood, and I wouldn't go anywhere, and I wouldn't do anything. And eventually, that started to get better over time. I think I had to rid myself. I had to set standards for myself. Get rid of. I had to set boundaries for myself, and that was a big step for me to say no. I'm not going to put up with people. Doing things. I'm not going to allow people to knock me down. And then I had to set standards for myself and say, I'm not going to put myself out there if I'm not, and just to be liked or loved or get the attention that I think I want. I think a lot of, I'm not gonna, put my life out there as much as I think I should. And then eventually, this year has been better. And, even though, it's been sad in some ways, it's been good in others. It's not easy. I wish it was easy. Last weekend I had a very adverse reaction to something that happened. I didn't react negatively like aggressively, but it's very hard to calm down. So you work on your calming tools now. You work to develop better coping mechanisms and defense mechanisms to better, build yourself from that. And I think some things that I had to learn was, you have to let things go, and you have to accept things for what they are, whether you like it or not. And I think I was so a lot of things I had to put forth the work and the energy, and I had to just do what I knew I had to do to prove to myself that, there's things, I need to be thankful for, like this new home, like my home that I've had for over 2 years. And there's things that I need to learn that I need to cope better with in life. I need to, accept things for what they are, because they're never going to get better if I don't accept them for what they are and move past what was. Never gonna, and if I don't continue to take care of myself from an overall wellness spectrum, that is taking my medicine, that is, going for a walk, that is eating properly, hydrating properly, all of those things, people. If it's not, if I'm not doing all of those things, I'm just setting myself up to repeat the cycle over and over again. It's not easy, and I say the behavior is somewhat, a culprit, and somehow I want to loathe off of it, but I don't. I want to see improvement. I want to go. I want to be. I don't. I want to be further than where I am today. I want to. I want to have dreams just as much as anybody else does. But if I continue to sit here and emulsify myself in a cycle of negativity, in a cycle of repeating the negative processes, it's never going to get better. It's never, if I sit here and just stuff myself full of unhealthy food, or not meeting my calorie regimen, or not doing things that are healthy for me, then you're gonna repeat the cycle again, and you're gonna have to start all over. In 2021, I had weighed 360 pounds, and I got a lot of it off in 2020 at the end of in 3 months' time. Fast forward to 2023, I got pretty near there again. Just late 2022, I was near that point again. And I'm proud to say now that I've got about 20 pounds of it off in 3 months' time. And I wouldn't say that all of it came off in 3 months' time. I bounced back a little, up and down, up and down. And within the past 3 to 4 weeks, I've really gotten it off. It's taken a lot of work, taking a lot of determination. It takes getting up and doing things that even if you don't want to do them, it takes getting up and doing what you need to do. I could sit here and make a million excuses why I couldn't go for a walk in the morning. It's too cold. It hurts my feet. My feet hurt. Socks are, I can't find a comfortable sock. I don't want to take a shower. All of these things, you make these excuses about things. And that was me for a long time, even with cleaning my apartment or cleaning or taking a shower, for example, because I knew I had to. It was hard to do those things. And for anybody, you could sit and just emulsify in the anxiety and the just the fear and the depression, and it can build up on you for a very long time. It can. And sometimes it takes a lot to do it anyway. Another example I want to share with you about doing it anyway is, this week I went to a doctor's appointment. They asked me how long I've been working. I've been working 13 years. And some people say, well, I can't believe you worked for 13 years. How have you worked for 13 years? Let me tell you, friends, it has not been easy. I mean, I'm in a better place where I am showing up more routinely than I ever have in 13 years. Sometimes I couldn't even get in the car and go. Sometimes I couldn't even show up. Sometimes it was just enough just to even make the phone call to say I couldn't make it. It was just such a challenge sometimes. It still can be, but you have to take your deep breath. You have to allow it to work for you. You have to do it in the way you can. And I'm very thankful for the supports and accommodations that I do have. But sometimes it does get to you. And sometimes you have to learn how to recover and take care of yourself. Sometimes you have to say no to things that are just way too much for you. Sometimes you have to realize you can't do everything. And I think, a few years ago, it's been about 6 years, after being through a lot, I received the Leadership and Recovery Award for my county in the behavioral health system. And I think, sometimes I have to think more and more every day. And I think I wake up and I think about it. Am I really being the leader in recovery here? Am I really showing how recovery is done? I can invest in it. I can do it. But you know what? It takes doing it anyway. And that means going to work when you have to. That means, going and going to the program on the days you have assigned. Yes, I still go to a program. Yes, I do enjoy it. And sometimes I had a hard time with the relationship with it. But it's getting better. I think, you have to work out your demons and work out your processes. Slower and slower every day. It's better. It does. If a couple of weeks ago, I'd be crawling in a bed thinking how sorry I felt for myself or how challenging something was. I would come up with a million reasons why not to get out of bed. I'd come up with a million reasons why I wouldn't want to do something or why I couldn't even do this video. And even to say on my day off that it's, a couple hours before I usually do it, that I'm doing it because I have the time. That's a big step. And to say that I'm doing the laundry early this week, that's a big step. All about these big steps in life that make things possible, and you have to want to do it. You have to want to do it. And I think that's the thing with me and the weight loss and anything else that comes down my path. I have to want to do it. I'm not going to do it unless I want to do it. And until I get out there and experience it for the first time ever, or I get used to doing something the same way a couple of times, it gets comfortable. Like I walked down the street today. I've walked down the street many a times. I lived in this neighborhood. I've walked down the street. But until I come up with a pattern and a plan to walk every day or walk when I can and do what I can, I'm going to do it because I know it helps me. I know it's getting me closer to that goal that I want to reach this year. And I will get there. I know it. So with that being said, I want to thank you for listening today. And if you make sure to do anything, just make sure you do it. Be sure to like and follow me on this channel. Be sure to tap that notification bell for more videos. I do release content usually on Fridays. If you haven't already, be sure to like me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest at Dus's Dynasty, and on the web at dus'sdynastyusa.com. I want to thank you for listening today, and be sure to have a good weekend and a happy, blessed holiday. Bye for now.